Hello. I feel relaxed and at ease. Let- Let's unpack that. And as we do, I will disassemble this puzzle toy. Wooden, round, many parts. Look at that. Wow. Nice little puzzle toy. Okay. So, why? How dare I just feel it's already coming apart? How dare I feel relaxed? What's going on there? Okay, yeah, it's done. Well, it's in my body for sure. Like, I felt into a lot of like the importance of spaciousness and slowness in my everything, routines, conversations, just my own rhythms of my days. Like urgency is definitely for me an obstacle to relaxation. And so the best I'm able to take care of myself to not feel rushed or urgent for anything. That can be as easy as like making sure I leave 5 minutes before I think I need to leave for something. That spaciousness fosters relaxation for me. Yeah, a lot of self-care. But really, like, the main thing I want to discuss here is a recent shift around fear that I feel like has helped me unlock a new level of relaxation. It's early days since potentially the shift, but it persists in those days, so I want to share about it. Yeah. So I feel like for many people, there's some maybe conscious, maybe unconscious story around a way or ways that it's not okay to be as a person. So like, let's consider this sentence. It is not okay to be fill in the blank. For some people it might be, it is not okay to be angry, or it is not okay to be late. Yeah, and so for myself, a story I've had is that it is not okay to be someone who makes people feel unsafe. Like, yeah, to me, safety feels like fundamental, like a root foundation on which to build anything, like a life, a relationship, a career, love, anything. If safety's not there, how can you feel resourced to think clearly and take action and feel okay? Because for me, I'm always like, if I'm unsafe, like, oh, what do I do? I gotta, there's a lack of like grounding and stability and safety to, on which to build something that is the meaningful, important thing. So yeah, for myself, I have felt fear and contraction on the possibility or potential to make someone else feel unsafe. It's happened before, like there's a time like a year ago on Twitter where I have a like gender fascination and curiosity around gender expression and polarity, and so I as a man know that I'm not going to experience some things that are more fundamental to like women's physiology and social life. And so I asked some questions, 100 of them, some of which were around like the body and sex, around like what is it like to have an orgasm, what is it like to be penetrated, what is it like to be pregnant. And I think that this long list of questions made some like women feel like unsafe or like resistant towards me, and that felt bad. And so there was contraction when I received the impact of like whatever potential, again, this is a story I have, like feelings of unsafety I caused in women on the internet. Yeah. More recently, I was in a training for some skills and a practice I want to continue to pursue, and I am going to. And for a partnered exercise where we try out some like things we learned in a earlier like lecture and demonstration. Yeah, I was paired with a woman where I'm guided to like lead, and there should be like feedback and presence and connection and attunement the whole way through. But with like my whole mind physiology, I think I overly focus on like doing the checklist of like, let's make sure we do this and that and the other thing. And I was less present and like attuned to how like my partner here was like receiving what I was doing and trying out. Yeah. So as we continued, there were a few moments where she expressed like verbally some like uncertainty or confusion around what I was doing. But she would like minimize her, I guess, autonomy. Like she would say things like, oh, this is for you, it's fine, or it doesn't matter. Like I, as like the leader in that interaction, what I ought to have done is like notice, oh, she is uncertain. There's like a lack of connection here. We are not on the same page right now. And so I could have like called to like pause and be like, hey, I want to check in. I noticed that we seem to be disconnected and like not, maybe I'm not attuned to you. What's going on? Is there something to clear up here? I did none of those things. And so it got to the point where she expressed feeling unsafe after 2 or 3 instances before where I failed to address her discomfort and confusion. I like narrow focus on like doing the practice had prevented me from being present with her, which is actually more foundational and essential to the whole goal of that practice session. So one of the like facilitators for this event ended up coming in, basically like a mediated conversation between us, where it became clear like the impact of like my lack of presence and attunement to her needs. And it's not to say like it's 100% my responsibility, like she could have also advocated for herself more strongly before the big expression of feeling unsafe. But yeah, it was really rough. It was really heavy. I felt awful. There was a break shortly after this exercise, and there was a like hammock on the property we were at, and I went into the hammock and like brought the sides over myself and like cocooned myself, and it's really often hard for me to like feel like a sadness or grief that causes tears, but I did tear up, and I just said, I'm sorry. Because while I knew like logically like things were okay, like my heart is in the right place, and I just acted without attunement to her and like without addressing the discomfort. That same lack of like consciousness and awareness can cause a lot bigger and worse and more impactful, harmful things, especially like man to woman. In like society, this happens every day. Through that same sort of like root unconsciousness and attunement to another person. So I was in that, but in sort of the aftermath, and I was really glad to like step into proactively seeking out another conversation with her that night, and yeah, I basically like told her the lesson I learned there and how to behave differently in the future, just about what I've already shared in this video, my growth path from there to be more proactive and prioritizing presence over like doing whatever the nominal purpose of the connection practices. Yeah, prioritizing the foundational connection and attunement and presence with each other. I kind of faced like my biggest fear, like, oh, the terrible, tragic thing I thought it's not okay to be someone who makes someone feel unsafe. I just lived that, and I wasn't like punished or like kicked out of this experience or exiled or anything, like, and the harm like wasn't that big, like it was all okay. It's like, whoa, this kind of shifts my entire like moral, ethical understanding. Oh, this thing I thought was not good or fine to be, like, it's okay. It's like not terrible. Like, it's okay to sometimes make some people feel unsafe. It's like, I'm imperfect and human. Like, these things happen. Like, people just collide and there's friction and yeah, like lack of consciousness and presence sometimes. Like, I try my best, but like I'm not always lovingly present all the time. And that'll have harm and impact sometimes, and it's just a lifelong thing. It'll never end, because I'll always be imperfect, and it's all okay. Like, it's okay to be the flawed person who bumps into other people and they sometimes make them feel unsafe. That's okay. So if the worst possible thing has happened and it's past and I lived and it's okay, what is there to be stressed about? Like, I'm good now. Like, that's the source of the relaxation and ease. Like, whoa, there's nothing to be afraid of right now. Like, I can just share, like, yeah, I'm concerned about like money stuff. Like, I don't know exactly how I'll make money in the long term of my career. Like, right now, it's occasionally coming in through one-on-one coaching sessions and contracted. Like, I make web apps and web pages for people on occasion, and those are nice little pops of money coming in. But it's not sustainable right now. And like, yeah, there's like, I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I don't fear it. Like, something will happen. It's fine. And now I don't fear potentially making someone feel unsafe. Like, that's also going to be okay the next time it happens. Wow. So I'm just kind of chill. It's all good. Whatever happens, like, that's why I feel relaxed and at ease, because I lived through my worst fear. I think this is kind of like maybe potentially a universal thing. Like, a friend I got to know better through this whole previous training, like, her biggest fear was, she used to be a stripper. Her biggest fear was her parents finding out that she did that. And then one day her parents found out, and it was okay. So yeah, like, once you're in the impact of like living through your worst fear and realizing there's just a story that it's unforgivable or this like monumental, permanent, damaging, rupture, traumatic thing forever, once I learned that's not true and it's all okay, it's kind of heaven on earth. And like, that part of that for me is like, I'm willing to like own the impact. Like, I didn't shy away from or minimize the harm I caused. Like, I owned it fully. I quickly, this happened in an afternoon, then that evening, like over dinner, I solicited, like, hey, wanted to talk to you. I made that solicitation. That evening we did have that conversation. I wasn't afraid of it, and I was willing to be with her. I didn't need her forgiveness or for us to be okay. I owned my part. And that happened multiple times in different instances throughout that training. I think like, yeah, I am always willing to own my part. I don't care to like, I want to live in the truth and in reality. And so like when I cause impact, that's a true thing. And so it's my kind of responsibility to acknowledge the truth. And I'm glad to do that over and over and over, forever, apparently. Yeah, one other part that I'm interested to explore is that knowing after like causing the impact of that feelings of unsafety, I both like mentally, like in the cocoon in the hammock, like figured, yeah, I ought to like have some sort of conversation about this with her later. My like, brain knew that. And also there's like this like, I really don't know how to describe this, like a charge in my heart area, like this activation, like I know it was like supporting them thoughts, like, yes, correct, you do, it is on you to set up this conversation, like, yes, heart energetically, emotionally was supporting the thought suggestion. That's kind of new for me. It happened a few times last month, and it's really fascinating. I'm curious to, I guess, have more experience with that. But I'm glad it feels like a superpower, like, it's really new. And I just want to thank it for its part in helping me feel more relaxed by knowing that the thing to do is to own the impact and have the like repair conversation. Yeah, so thank you, heart. So that's why I'm relaxed and at ease. Now you know. Yeah. That's it. Thanks for watching and listening. This is day 2 of 30 days of April videos. So, see you tomorrow.